Okay, everybody, we'll go ahead and start proceeding with the meeting. We'll call the meeting to order. Let the record show this. This is a unusual meeting, Jeanette. Make sure that it is in the minutes that this is a Zoom meeting. So 50 years from now, people will look up the word Zoom and see what it means. Hang with me because I got paperwork I got to go through here. Unusually today, we're going to have a roll call on votes. And what I will do, and I'm trying to help Jeanette and all of us out. What I will do, I will go through them. Once a motion's been made in a second, I will go through and call for votes by district. Okay. First order of business would be the minutes. Minutes from the March 17th meeting. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the March 17th meeting with any corrections noted by anybody?
No.
I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Keith Metcalf makes a motion.
I'll second.
Second by Jeff Lear. Any further discussion? All approved, say number one.
Aye.
Number two.
Aye.
Number three.
Aye.
Number four.
Aye.
Number five.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. That we'll trial and error that, see how it goes. Next will be your bills list and additional bills list. You'll see about on the general fund bills list, there's about retrofitting the new cars for the sheriff's department. It was about $50,000 or $60,000. That's a big expense.
Sure.
Any specific questions from the magistrates on the bills?
I just have one, Judge. This is number two.
Okay.
On the auditor, we paid the auditor to do it. And we still have to turn around and pay the state $1,400 to review the audit.
Can you speak up, Gary?
On the audit services,
Uh-huh.
we paid the auditor to do it. And then we have to turn around and pay the state $1,400
To review it,
the audit.
to review the audit.
Okay, gotcha.
That's required by statute.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question. Judge.
Okay, go ahead.
And it's probably just, you just be educating me here, but this quarterly agreement with city county garbage reimbursement, what does that?
Yeah, you probably weren't here when that happened, Eric, and also Gary. There was some disputed areas on our garbage routes that we came up to a compromise with the city on. Part of that would be that they would do the limb pickup for those people that they annexed, and we would continue with the regular garbage customers. So we agreed to it. Brad, I think, John, it was about a $2 or something a month.
Correct. It's for areas in which they annex. We were not going to give up the garbage customers. So we continue to serve garbage, but the deal was they get a discount back to where they have to do bulky item and leaf pickup.
Leaf pickup.
Correct.
So
quarterly we pay that back.
It's just a handful of people.
Gotcha. So that would be for that new proposed development. I guess it would kind of pertain to that as well, wouldn't it?
No, these were some older developments at the time, Brad, best of my memory.
Correct. I mean, I can go through the specific ones. Oakwood was one of them. Caney Fork Run, Caney Fork Road was one of them. Timmy Hutchins subdivision is one of them.
In South Trace or South, the big subdivision right up on the hill, South Fork. And it won't.
No, we picked that garbage up, and that's in the county. It's only places where they annexed, and we wouldn't give the garbage up.
What's that subdivision? Come up River Hill, go to the right.
Beach Fork.
Beach Fork. That's one of them, right?
I can't remember off the top of my head, Keith. That's been 4 or 5 years ago, probably.
Okay.
So if we
Good question, though, Eric.
I have.
I saw that. I was just curious.
Anybody else having questions on the bills?
I have a question, Judge.
Okay.
If the city annexes something else, are we still gonna be able to take care of the garbage if they annex it from the county?
Well, you know, we have a different mayor right now, and our relationship's real good with the city, so I don't anticipate any problem with that, to be honest with you. But we'll see how it goes. We're going to hold on as many customers as we can.
Very good.
Entertain a motion to approve the bills and additional bills and transfers.
I'll make that motion and approve the bills and additional
Who was
transfers.
this?
Number 2.
Number 2 made a motion to approve. That's Gary Coulter. Is there a second to his motion?
Second.
Bernard Ice, second. I heard that, Bernard. Number 1, yes or no on the bills?
Yes. Number 1, yes.
Number 2,
Yes.
number 3,
Yes.
number 4,
Aye.
number 5.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you all. Okay. Again, I didn't turn my agenda all upside down. That's the most important thing. Next would be a request for a tax moratorium on a piece of property that's located on, it's actually located on Muir Street. This was the house that Newcomb Oil moved from where it was, where they're redoing the 5-star there on the corner, down to Muir Street. Someone has purchased that house. It plans on spending about $70,000 bringing it up to update it. I think it's a good request. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Or are they trying to say, Judge, that the house is only going to be worth $140,000 when complete?
That's what they're saying, but what it is, their tax assessments will stay at the $70,000 what they paid for the property for 5 years. You got that, Keith?
I got that.
Yeah. Need a motion to, I would recommend to the court somebody to approve that project. That's a great project.
I'll make the motion to approve the
That's
application.
Eric made a
And I'll
motion.
I'll second.
Second by Jeff. Further discussion? Vote wise, number 1,
Yes.
approve the motion. Number 2,
Yes.
number 3,
Yes.
number 4,
Aye.
number 5.
Yes.
A motion carries. You got that, Jeanette? I hope. Okay. Next would be the dispatch budget. I sent you guys out an explanation after the last court meeting about the 2 questions you asked. I hope I was able to answer those questions. The questions were, in particular, the retirement and the salaries. Entertain a motion to approve the dispatch budget.
I'll make a motion, we approve the budget.
Thank you, Jeff. Is there a second to Jeff's?
I'll second it. Number 2.
Keith Metcalf did a second. So he was just a little lighter than the other fellow, whoever that was.
Hey, Dave, I just got a quick question. for this
Okay, discussion.
It's not really particularly having to do with the numbers on the budget. Does the city, did they use our dispatch service or did they get out of that agreement? Are they not?
It's a joint venture.
Okay, good deal. All right.
Okay, vote number 1,
Yes.
number 2,
Yes.
number 3,
Yes.
number 4,
Yes.
number 5.
Yes.
All right, motion carries, Jeanette. Approve the dispatch budget. Is this working out okay for you guys?
Yes. Yes.
Everything's good.
Okay,
Yes.
next would be the amended interlocal agreement for 911 dispatching. The changes were made. Joe Pruitt actually made some of those changes. They were more typographical errors, I think, than anything. Everybody had a chance to review those?
Yes.
Entertain a motion to approve.
Make that motion.
Bernard Ice made a motion. Is there a second to Bernard's motion?
I'll second it.
Second by Gary. Discussion?
Yeah. Is Joe on here?
Yes.
Yes,
Joe Crew, he's on here?
yes.
And Joe's okay with the way all this says?
He's the one who redid it.
Okay. I'm all right with it.
Number 1, I had a motion and a second. Number one vote,
Yes.
approve. Number two,
Yes.
number three,
Yes.
number four,
Yes.
number five.
Aye.
Motion carries, Jeanette. I'm getting this down pat a little bit better.
You're getting it, Judge. Let's do it. You're doing good.
Yeah.
The next would be your county administrative code, a couple of updates I asked you guys for, and I made some corrections. I made some corrections to it. Let me make sure I have somebody participating. I make sure that she's okay here. I think I just undid that. My English, being the librarian that you are, Miss Moore, I'm sorry for that. She just came on, I didn't catch her. Next would be the changes to the administrative code. We changed the fines from $25 to $100 minimum and $50 to $200 maximum. Then in regards to people speaking at meetings, we come up with a compromise. Persons or groups wishing to address fiscal court must give written notice to the judge executive at least 24 hours prior to the meeting. Individuals are limited to 3 minutes. Special interest groups shall have one spokesperson address the court who is limited to 5 minutes. Speakers are not permitted to poll magistrates individually to ask how they will vote on any particular matter. Presentations for educational purposes as determined by the judge executive may be allowed more time. That was a big, I think a big change from last time, right, guys?
Right. But I've got a question, Judge. If one of my constituents come to court, they're not allowed to speak unless they call you before the agenda is printed?
Yes, not printed, but 24 hours before the meeting. But I could work them in under old new business that way if it's, but they gotta give me 24 hours notice.
All right, I got another question. Shouldn't your spending, where we upped your spending, shouldn't that be on here too? To get approved?
I did not make a new copy because you guys already said that was okay.
Yeah, but it's not on here. I just thought maybe it should be on here so it'd be noted.
Jeanette will get a copy of the whole ordinance
Okay.
with the changes made. You everybody
I
understand that?
I apologize to me.
Yeah, I think it looks good. Structure. It's good for structure. One question I do have, and I've kind of talked to you about it before, Judge, is and I never did come up with anything, obviously, but how would you handle people approaching support stuff? I mean, that's something.
It's never been a real problem, Eric, until the last little bit. So we just have to handle it case by case.
Well, Judge, this can be changed too, right?
Just because we approve this, we don't mean we can't come back and redo it.
Okay.
I have something to say to you, Judge, if it's okay.
Go ahead, Gary.
The 650.1, I was totally against it because the public couldn't speak. So I think this is a good compromise that you came up with. That way it will allow our constituents to address the court if they need to. So thank you for that.
Well, I kind of wanted people to speak, but then you get people that go off the wall sometimes and it gets a little hairy.
Well, I think that's a good compromise, 30
So
minutes.
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Entertaining a motion to approve the administrative code changes, and that's an ordinance, so we'll have to advertise for a second reading and adoption.
I'll make that motion.
Motion's been made by Eric. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Second by Gary. Further discussion? Number one, in
Yes.
favor of?
Yes.
Number two?
Yes.
Number three?
Yes.
Number four?
Yes.
Number five?
Yes.
Motion carries, Jeanette. Unanimously. And I'll give everybody a clean copy of this too, once we get it all cleaned up. Okay? Let's see, extension budget, that's just a matter of presentation. They're required by law to submit a budget to us. I just want, Jeanette, you don't have to actually put this in the minutes, but just note that the extension made their presentation to the court. I think, guys, you got this in your mailbox or in your mail packet,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
Road Department report. Okay, I got Brad's report here.
Wait a
Next
minute,
time we
Judge.
do this, I'll have these individual guys do this, and
What
we'll get a little
about
bit
this
better as we
first?
go along.
What about the extension?
Do I?
Oh, that we don't have to vote on it?
No,
Okay,
no, do not have to, presentation only.
okay.
Okay, on the road department report, as of this time, on April the 7th, they're in the third phase, which is the last phase, approximately 1 week behind. They will begin a culvert installation on Coon Hollow and Wilkerson Road for planned paving once the bulky item is completed. The Dodge 5500 that we bought from the transportation cabinet is complete. So Brad wants some discussion on what type of bed that we want to put on it, whether we want just a flat bed or a dump bed. The bed itself, let's see, I've got separate numbers on those. Around $4,000, no, let me see, about $3,500 for a flat bed and about $10,000 for the dump bed. Open the floor for discussions on that, guys.
What do they need?
Brad, what's your opinion?
Well, I would prefer the dump bed, to be honest with you. I mean, it will
Okay.
come in very, very handy, but it is $10,000. I don't know if you guys saw the pictures I sent out of that truck. It turned out really well, and we saved a lot of money on that. But again, it will be very handy, but I'm at the mercy of the court.
Magistrates, I will say over the years, a smaller dump bed comes in handy when you're working on a little tighter places.
I can see where it would come in handy when you patch, the blacktop patches where they could raise the bed up a little bit. It'd be so much easier for the men to get that patch off the truck and patch a pothole. So I'm in favor of the dump bed.
Also, this size of truck that this Dodge is, it's more like almost a 2-ton. F-350 or 450 may be even light for a dump bed, but this truck is suited for a dump bed.
I would recommend to the court to go ahead and purchase the dump bed.
Make a motion that we purchase the dump bed for.
A motion by Jeff Lear. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second the motion.
Second by Keith Metcalf. Discussion. Number 1, approve or disapprove?
Yes.
Yes. Number 2?
Yes.
Number 3?
Yes.
Number 4?
Yes.
Number 5?
Yes.
Motion carries, Jeanette. Okay, next would be request approval for a small subdivision near 2680 Mobley Mill Road. The plat has 3, we discussed this at the last meeting, Jeff. This is in your district too.
Yes.
Wait a minute, I think I've got somebody just came on here. Let me double check. No, I was wrong. Sorry about that.
Joe Pruitt came on mine.
He was already in at one time.
Raymond did.
Let me see here.
We lost Coulter.
Did we?
Oh, there he is. He's back.
Gary, you still there?
I had to get my charger for the computer.
Okay. Okay. So there's a subdivision you guys learned about. It's going to have 7 to 10 acres in it, and I think there'll be 3 lots off of that. Court, you got that information last court meeting? Hey, Brad, do you want us to? Where's Brad? I done lost him. There he is.
Yeah, I lost Brad too.
Do you want everybody to agree to accept that in the system if it meets the specifications? Is what you're wanting? It's highlighted in yellow.
It was originally approved as a private road,
Yes.
and they've requested it to go over to the county standards. They will build it to county standards. I will inspect it to county standards. They've just asked if they could switch it from a private road to a county road, which is unique. We haven't had that much, but they're going to pay for all what is necessary. They haven't built anything yet. So it's
That's
just
in your
something
district?
It's in Jeff's district.
Yes, Jeff Lear's district. Jeff, you still got sound?
Yes.
Okay. So Brad, you want us to approve taking that in to the county system, provided it meets your county standards?
Correct.
Okay, would entertain a motion to that effect.
I'll make a motion, we approve the request.
Motion's been made by Jeff Lear. Is there a second?
I make it motion second.
Second by Bernard Ice. Discussion.
Yeah, I got a question about that. Now, is that in the same, is it in that area where we just recently had to lower the speed limit? Is it the same area?
No, it is not.
No.
Okay, and so how many lots are back in there on that 10-acre tract?
3.
3.
3.
And it's already platted that way right now, Eric.
Hmm.
It's already platted as a private road, but they want it made a public road.
It's like, I guess with just that small amount of tracks, it probably won't have much influence on.
That's kind of what we thought,
traffic control.
Eric. Okay.
And Brad's good with it, and everybody's good with it. Okay.
Yes, I'm fine with it.
Okay,
Yes.
the motion's been made in the second. Number 1,
Yes.
number 2,
Yes.
number 3,
Yes.
number 4,
Yes.
and number 5.
Yes.
That was a late yes.
Forgot what district he was in.
Jeanette, let the record show that motion approved to accept that development, a small development into the county system. Next, Brad, you're killing me here with your yellow marks. Request for approval for North Nelson Water to proceed in moving a water line on Whiteside Road in regards to a culvert we're going to be replacing. And then also in the same motion, if I could get a request to advertise for bid for summer construction of a box culvert off of Whiteside Road. We have the state money for that.
Correct. What it is, gentlemen, where we're going to replace this culvert to help aid in some of the flooding issues there. Well, there's water lines in the way that have to be moved. And I got 3 quotes just for our administrative code, and North Nelson was the cheapest to move the 2 water lines that serves this area. So it has to be done in order to install.
And that's paid for 100% by the state.
Yeah. It's been going on for a long time, and it's one of Senator Higgins' projects that he'd like to get done. I'd like to get it wrapped up myself.
Correct.
Entertain a motion then.
I make a motion that we approve North Nelson to move the water line and to advertise for construction of the box culvert.
Thank you, Jeff. Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Who was that second?
It was number 5.
Number two seconded, okay. Number 1, approve.
Yes.
Number 2,
Yes.
number 3,
Yes.
number 4,
Yes.
and number 5.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries, Jeanette. Boy, that number 5 is getting weaker and weaker.
He is.
I've heard that. There's state money getting spent on that. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay. Anything else on road? I don't have I missed anything on road, Brad?
The only thing, Mago with the COVID-19 issue going on, they have not committed to when they're going to begin paving, gentlemen. The estimate may be 1st of May. They don't know. It's very fluid. So I'll let you guys know when they start paving. I mean, they haven't committed to anything yet.
Okay. Okay, let's go to landfill solid waste report. First item would be the removal of tires that we picked up from the bulky item pickup. Liberty Tire is the low price. You guys have a copy of that, I believe, in your mail. Right, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I would need a motion to approve disposal of these tires through Liberty Tire Recycling.
Can I ask a question?
You can.
Yes.
Hey, John, about how many passenger tires make a ton?
Each tire, I think for passenger tires, they're like 20 to 30 pounds. So I can do the math on that.
No, that's okay. I was just curious. That's all. All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Entertain a motion to approve.
Make that
I'll
motion.
make that motion.
Bernard Ice made the motion,
I'll second.
second by Keith. Okay, I'll approve the motion. Number one,
Yes.
number two,
Yes.
number three,
Yes.
Yes.
number four.
Yes.
Four got ahead of the game. I like that, Jeff. And number five, did you wake up?
I'm here, yes, yes.
Jeanette, the motion will carry. Jeanette, I've got copies for you on all this stuff. Okay. Next on let me go back to the landfill report. He's got some more information to share here. They've shut down our office to the public and doing transactions through the front window, like a fast food, trying to drive, kind of a drive-through. The force main sewer, we have preliminary design studies on the routes and deciding and exiting along US 62. Horizon Engineering is performing the survey along the proposed route. Final design should be completed this summer. Height Engineering and Surveying is performing our annual survey of the landfill. On the solid waste, due to the COVID-19 virus, recycling centers in Nelson County have shut down. We have suspended recycling door to door, and we have removed recycling trailers from the city of New Haven and Bloomfield. And they've asked that all residents to bag their garbage that's in the cans. That would be a big help too. Right, John?
Yes, that would be a big help.
Okay. John, anything else on that? I don't have anything else.
That's all I had.
Okay.
I got a quick question for you, John, while you're on here.
Yeah, go ahead.
The memo you sent out on the bulk item pickup and how much we've gotten in by cubic yards and all that. There's a line item that talks about the disposal cost. What factors into the disposal cost and how much it costs the county? What calculates into that?
Okay, so basically you have two things. You have tires, and then you have bags that we charge just like any other customer. So if we have we have dump trucks that bring stuff in, and we have roll-off boxes that bring stuff in. So for the roll-off box, it would be $8 a cubic yard times 30 cubic yards. And for the tandem axle dump trucks, it's $8 a yard for 8 yards. So basically, we just charge like we would charge any other customer.
Okay, and I guess your truck charge that's fluent with your guys too. How much your labor is involved in? Is that in there as well?
Basically, it's just a transaction between departments. We charge the landfill is charged exactly like anybody else. Is just by the cubic yard. We do that by the cubic yard and for any tires that are brought in. We charge.
That's good. Thank you.
Okay. Everybody got the questions answered? You good? Okay, I'm gonna go back just a little bit. I had a question and on the administrative code, I failed to mention the amounts that you guys had agreed to last court meeting in general principle. On the purchasing, on purchases exceeding, it was $5,000, now it's $7,500, shall receive fiscal court approval. And any purchase less than $7,500, then we will get quotes on and consider that a small purchase bid. All purchases of $350 or larger require my signature or Rhonda's signature on a purchase order. That previous amount was $150 and had been like that for 25 years.
Wow. I don't see how you got anything.
Oh, Lee's the world's worst. I'll throw him under the bus right here. Where is Lee? No, he has to have it though. He does a great job.
Absolutely.
Okay, on EMS report, I've got Joe's report right here. Joe's report, you had 587 calls. Joe, you got anything to add? Joe, you on mute though, aren't you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I think you're probably going to report a little bit on the COVID, aren't you, Judge?
Yes, yes.
I'll
But
just
now when I do that, you chime in, okay? Okay. But let me just say this on the ambulance. The first last of February, the 1st of March runs were kind of going down south. They have picked up back up a little bit, Joe. I just got my monthly report on all the cash flow, and the actual ambulance service did pick up a little bit of slack, so we're better than I was predicting, which is always good. And we'll just see how the rest of the year plays out. We're in our final quarter of our fiscal year, and we are analyzing everything as we speak. Thank you. Any questions for Joe?
Keep
Okay.
up the good job.
On the jail report, I just got that this morning. So I'm going to give you the breakdown. Good news and bad news at the jail. Good news is we're down to 87 inmates. There must have been quite a few releases even since our last court meeting. Of those 87, 45 are state. That's good news. 42 are county. So the governor and I guess all those involved are trying to get those numbers down and out of the jail. So it's kind of good news for us to a point. As long as we keep those state prisoners, it's kind of a break even anyway for the cash flow. But I'll keep you guys monitored on it as we go forward. And they're going to use every penny that's in our budget to survive on. And there won't be any second guessing on that. Okay, recreation report. All the sports fields are closed at the parks. We have taped off the playground equipment, and we've actually had some people out and congregating at several of the parks, and had to go after hours and ask them to leave. And everybody has abided by it once we got there. That was a little bit of a problem at the soccer fields, just congregating and playing soccer as a group. Some folks were playing basketball, so we took the goals down 2 weeks ago. So, but Bryce is on top of that and doing a good job. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, bulky item. I failed to give you the bulky item numbers. John, you gave me those yesterday, and I forgot to put those out to the guy. I think you emailed everybody, didn't you, John?
Yes, I did. I sent those an email yesterday.
Okay. Well, I won't review those then. We're should be finishing up one day this week, Brad, right?
If plans go well, Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've done really got lucky this year. I'll call it that.
If you haven't already received it, magistrates, I'll make sure you copy it. I think I sent you this morning. There are 35 cases of COVID-19 in the Lincoln Trail area, of which Hardin has 14, LaRue County has 2, Marion County has 7, Meade has 2, Nelson has 6, and Washington with 4. It looks like what the governor's been doing for the last 3 or 4 weeks has been working. I think Kentucky's numbers will show, if we continue that pattern, that the social distancing is working. If you compare that to our surrounding states, even you have to go on a percentage wise, we are still much better off than Indiana and Tennessee. I always look at Indiana and Tennessee. Now, just for references, Tennessee and Indiana both are about 2.2 million more in population. And Kentucky is averaging for every person, for the test, 5% of those tested are showing a positive versus 19% for Indiana. Everybody understand me on that? So you have to look at it percentage wise. You can't just say, one state's doing more than the other. But I think everybody locally seems to be working together as much as possible. There's always pockets of problems. Joe, you want to chime in there?
Well, again, to reiterate what you're saying, we just have to encourage our public to continue to do social distancing, stay at home. If you don't need to go anywhere, don't go. Now the push is for our citizens to wear masks when they're going out. As you know, we're short on PPE supplies equipment. We're unable to get any additional equipment. And now the general public's going to be using a lot of masks that we may be needing as well. So a lot of folks are getting into the market of making masks, and that's a good thing, but they are not the quality for first responders to use. So we continue to reach out. Matter of fact, EMS directors across the state will have a conference call with the governor directly tomorrow. That's an unprecedented thing that's never happened before that I remember. So maybe we'll get a little more information from him tomorrow.
Thank you, Joe. Anybody got any questions for Joe?
I got one.
Go ahead, Keith.
Joe, I would like to thank you and your staff for everything you all have done. I'd like to give Sarah Jo Best a plus. I know it's a lot of extra work and a lot of extra strain on your people, your staff, you, everybody. I just want to say thank you for all that you're doing in these times.
Well, I appreciate that, Keith. I have to tell you that our staff are not hard-hearted or hard-minded. They're very, most of them are very scared. They go out on these runs and they don't know what they're going into. We change our policies daily, practically, on how to help keep them healthy and safe. But it's an ongoing issue, and they are concerned, very concerned.
Okay. Any other questions under old new business? I want to talk a little bit with the magistrates about on various funds of potential decreases in revenue based on the current situation in the world. Obviously, number one, probably the biggest one is going to be the occupational tax. And I think that will be impacted in the current budget year cycle we're in, which means I think we'll be able to handle it probably okay. We have a little bit of cushion usually and not spending every penny that we have. So I think we'll be fine, but there will be a decrease in revenue. The other, it really doesn't affect us as a fiscal court, but it's going to affect the tourism commission with the room tax and the restaurant tax. You know, that you're going to go about a 30-day window with minimum amount of restaurant tax and almost no of the room tax. And I think that could go anyway through mid-May, maybe late May anyway. So, and that's usually a pretty good tourist time of the year. Planning commission fees is still undetermined whether, you know, that's going to have a negative impact on us or not. The building permits still continue, believe it or not. The electrical permits, people are still working on construction. So I hope that continues. I really believe the county road aid we get from the gas tax will have some negative impact, but minimum. But there is a state has already approved taking out our coal impact money, which was $29,000 a year. And it's going back to, I think it's going back to the other counties that are actually coal, the severance tax. So we'll see how that plays out. The jails, you need to keep an eye on the jail and the EMS service, even though EMS has bounced back some. We will keep an eye on that and monitor those two funds going forward. Anybody have any questions for me on the budget side of this COVID-19?
Just is the federal government or the state government, are they offering any support to the local governments that's going to be? I mean, I know they're getting affected as well, but I didn't know if there was a.
I have not seen anything, Eric, but I got my eyes and ears peeled.
Help keep your.
The main thing in my mind would be to make sure we get these small business people some assistance, and the banks, local banks, are administering those loans, which in some cases will be turned into grants. There are certain expenses that will be turned into grants, and I think it's important. If you see your small business out there, tell them to go to their community banks. So that's who's going to be administering the money, and some of it is forgivable. Anybody else have any questions?
I've got one. Go ahead, Steve.
Go ahead, Gary.
Talking about the coal tax being taken away, is that the same as the mineral tax?
No, mineral's a little different. Mineral is the limestone and the quarry money. And that's actually been up. So it's like taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back.
Okay, so they're not taking the mineral away, just the coal.
Step back, one forward.
Right.
Right, okay.
2
I got a
steps forward,
question
1
about
step
the-
back. There you go. Who said, it's like,
About
any
that
other
road.
questions?
Yeah, I got one.
Go ahead.
That road I got on New Hope Road about the O'Brien, did you get that? Because you sent me all the paperwork where they all
I have
signed.
no explanation what that was for, Keith.
Oh, what that's for is there's 6 people that live back there and they want a private sign put up and they want to name it O'Brien Lane.
He said that he was.
Okay, I'll send that to the,
So the only way I can give
oh,
you the
David
phone
Evans
number-
at the city, get him started on that then.
Okay.
I figured that's what it was, but I've just been busy with other stuff.
Okay, Judge. Thank you.
Anybody else before we adjourn?
Hey, Judge, real quick on the sheriff's office, we're, of course, everybody knows we're a fee-based office, and our vehicle inspections are going to be down. Our transports are going to be down. I'm not overly concerned at this moment, but I just want to make the court aware that our money is going to be down quite a bit.
Okay.
But just a heads up.
Raymond, you asked a question, I believe it was Friday when we had our get together with everybody. Was it Friday? About if one of the first responders, Joe, this applies to you too. If they get the virus and the governor announced last night that they're going to make the state parks available, the cabins available for citizens that have that problem. I don't know the extent of it yet. They haven't rolled it completely out, but that's a pretty good idea, even though you're going to be away from home a little bit. But, I don't know where our closest cabins are. Can anybody tell me where our closest cabins are probably to us?
I'd say Lakeland.
Where?
I would say.
I know that.
Barron?
Yeah, I know you got some Barron.
Yeah. We'll evaluate that when we come across that, Raymond and Joe.
George area.
Okay.
I just, on Friday, I wanted to make, pre-plan on those things because
Yes.
other law enforcement agencies have gotten hit and they've tested positive, and some have the luxury to have a college and they're gone, and they're able to put them in a dorm at a university or a college.
Sure.
So,
Yeah. We'll keep researching that, Raymond, okay?
yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Anything else, guys?
I have one more thing. I don't know if you
Gary?
followed up on this. Have you talked to Keiko any more
On?
health insurance?
I have not yet. No, I've been busy with
I
a
understand.
lot of subjects.
I understand. Okay.
But it is on my radar. This coming probably next 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, what about general liability, guys? I personally don't think we want to get into a self-insured group. I'll bring that up at the next meeting, but I want some direction on that before I get too deep in it.
Well, right now, Judge, on the Keiko health insurance, we may,
Because Keiko don't have health insurance. They're just a broker for health insurance.
I understand, but with all this COVID-19, it may be deficit on their outcome this year in the Keiko if we have to make up the deficit. So we may want to look at that a little bit further before we go with that.
I
Keiko's.
agree.
If the numbers are up and we have to put in more at the end, like you said, you did 1 year, we may want to wait.
We're in a good position on health insurance this year. I think we could negotiate anyway with our current broker and get a pretty good reduction and probably lower. I think I could probably lower the out of pockets and the deductible.
That would be great.
Would you want me to? I don't want to do that if I've got to go out to other folks.
Well, I think.
Health insurance is a different animal. It's a completely different animal than anything you'll do.
it didn't seem like it was too glittery to me. I'm not gonna lie. The guy pitched it, and I thought, man, it's something you're gonna have to really evaluate very closely, I think, before you make a big decision about it. I definitely, I mean, it doesn't hurt.
I'll bring it up at the next meeting completely,
man,
so get your thoughts together on it.
Yeah, before all this took place, I was all for the Keiko part of it. But right now, you're going to have to back up and regroup and look at everything about it before you jump in.
Yeah, that guy, he didn't sound too promising on what he had to offer.
I promise you, all the years I've negotiated for health insurance or general liability insurance, I have negotiated like it was my own. And because I represent all these, we represent all these employees, but I'm usually the one sticking my nose out there. And I do it in the best interest of all parties. I can't take one side of the spectrum over here and try to please them. I got to get somewhere in the middle that tries to please everyone. I will be talking to you about that, guys.
Yeah, county employees, of course, they want the rates to go down. I understand that completely, but we have to look at the bottom line and the deductibles. I understand, Judge.
Can we look at options, what Keiko's gonna give or what they're offering compared to what our new policyholder can give us? You know, you're stating that he can lower the premiums or what we pay in. Let's look at options.
That's not what he said at the conference. That's not what
Let
he
me
said
say this,
at that
Raymond. You know, we
conference when I
looked
was-
at option. The biggest option is to go self-insured.
That's risky too.
I know it is, but you know, it is evidently this is paid off for the city after the first 10 years. It's paid off.
Yes,
Well,
I agree.
But I don't like
it.
Yeah, health insurance is not a one-year contract, guys.
Right.
It's not a one-year deal. You can't, in fact, there's only 3 or 4 health insurance companies and maybe 5 at most in Kentucky. So you don't have a lot of options.
How come we still can't get an option? I would still like to get a quote from them. If our insurance company we got now can go down, why can't Keiko go down with them? So what's the difference there? I don't understand that.
I'm not saying they can't go, Keiko can't go down.
Okay.
Okay, but if I'm going to Keiko, I'm going to every other agent that's possible that can sell us health insurance.
That's
I'm not going
fine.
to pick and choose.
That's
I'm
fine.
fine with
I'm
that.
okay with that. I'm the
all for
bottom line. For all of our employees, what we got to put down, what we got to pay in copay. I mean, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot for the sheriff department. It's a lot for our road department. I just want an option to prove to them that here's what it is. And
Okay. It's like bait and switch though, Keith. Health insurance. Yeah, you may save a little bit of money this year, and you may save quite a bit of money this year. But shame on you the next 2 years.
Well,
I've been through that. I promise.
I know that's to be seen.
If they'll guarantee a certain rate, they won't do that because all those rates are based on experience.
I still go back to what I said. If 113 out of 120 counties has got it, it's got to have.
Not on
some
health
good
insurance,
to
they
it.
don't, Keith. They do on general liability, but not on health insurance.
There's a lot of them got health
Marion
insurance.
County doesn't have it. I can tell you that.
I know Marion does. I talked to the doctor.
But we'll have a special meeting on that probably. Okay? And I want to see y'all eyeball to eyeball too. But we'll see. Any other business? Motion, right this time I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
I'll make
Motion been made by Bernard Ice. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Keith Metcalf. All approved, number 1,
Aye.
number 2, number 3,
Close your door.
4,
Raymond.
Yes.
number 5. 5, are you still there?
5 is barking.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Motion carries, Jeanette. Motion is
Yes.
adjourned. Thank you all. I appreciate your patience.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. Good job.